You just do it. That's all.
Yep. No, it's good passing the instruments on to the family.
Yeah. Well, I didn't have an easy life. My dad was a carpenter, one of 7 children. My mother was excellent. She said, "I would like to get it for you, but we just can't." Then she didn't tell me no.
Yeah.
And I was just a happy child, and I waited a long time for anything, To my dad, I can remember tons of times putting new soles on shoe soles on my shoes, paper and cardboard and everything.
Yeah.
But we were a good family. And,
And where did you grow up?
huh?
Where did you grow up?
Well, I'm Washington.
Oh, okay.
Born, I went to grade school, high school, and I got married in the parsonage of the church, a little church, He was in the Air Force in 1940, in the 40s. And he was a waist gunner on the B-17, B-24, and the big bombers. 3 years in that service. But I didn't meet him until, in fact, I met him in October, got married in December.
You knew he was the one.
Well, my girlfriend and I was working at the Continental Can Company. And they had big wooden forks and a handle here and the tongs were at them. And working outside, it's so cold. And so we took that fork and stuck it in those cans when it came down and put it in a paper like a box up. Then he was in the Air Force, that's all I knew, driving a pull motor, and he'd put those on those lifts and take them to a warehouse. Well, the bottom line is he had a date to go to a dance at the USO when they have bands come from for the service people.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, I don't want to work. So he came, he was on it, and he worked nights, a couple hours, then had to get back to the base. I said, I'd like to have, if you will, I'd like to have you to go to the dance with me. I drove my dad's car. My dad's car, I'll pay the way. I just want a warm body to dance with. He did. We met. It was his collector, and he was still in the Army 3 more months after I got married. We got married in 1945. But the bottom line, he knew what he wanted. He was a man. He said to me, "Oh, I'll go to work. You mind the house." And there was no grace. No,
Yeah.
This is it.
Yeah.
And he clicked. So after all, here I am.
Yeah. You made the best of everything, it sounds like.
Yeah. I'm just happy and very, very thankful for this. But nothing was given to us.
Yeah, you had to work hard for it.
We started off, he had a lot of jobs, tons of jobs. But the biggie was, he wanted a farm. He was from Detroit, he didn't know anything about a farming. Well, at that time, the Grand Coulee Dam was being finished. The government bought up all the large wheat holdings, all the land, was available, and created farms up there in that Othello, Washington, Othello. And you were supposed to have $5,000 and work on that land a year without, you had to give yourself to the land. So we borrowed the $5,000, got that place, and of course he wanted sheep. We had sheep. Oh dear.
A lot of work.
And we built a great big, he did all himself. Bricks up, not bricks, blocks, and then more some mats like this, a long sheep shed. We had a cow. He didn't know what it was for, but he learned how to milk. And we just struggled together. And
It's always better to struggle together than by yourself, right?
Yeah. Somebody came along and we sold the farm. We had maybe somewhere around 300 acres. We sold that. And then he went to Detroit. I hated Detroit. I didn't like his family. They were ugly. Then we looked at the newspaper and he saw where a factory was for sale. Well, he talked to his sister, which I didn't like at all. But she worked for a plumber, and she was maybe. So we went and borrowed $5,000 from this man. But we said he'd get the first septic tanks that we built. And then, this was his husband, he was a bookkeeper, so he took the books, got another man. Don't know what he was doing. I think he was a truck driver. He got in a three men. We bought this factory.
And
Still tank fabricating company. We had that for years and years. He was a good welder. Then he couldn't get along with his sister, so we sold out to her. And then we went to Washington State, and then he needed a job again. But he was never without a job.
Yeah, always kept at it and stayed busy.
Yeah, he, when we lived in the alley, and this man over here, he was the warden of the state penitentiary. So if you want a job, I'll give it. Everybody needs a job that works for penitentiary. So he did that, and he got out the dairy there and ran the dairy out there. He wasn't afraid of working.
They grow a lot of onions up there too, don't they?
Huh?
Walla Walla? They grow all the onions?
No, beans, there's a lot of canneries.
Yeah.
Miles and miles. Well, onions. That's one of the Italian gardeners on the big road. Last year, I did call up a Walla onion growers and ordered some Walla sweet onions.
Yeah. They sell them up there at all the restaurants and stuff.
Yeah.
Yep.
What I do, and I've done it, you get them in January. We used to live we lived in Tempe, Arizona. Well, my brother lived in Mesa, and he's now passed. But I call what they call orange patch from January when they come on, the orange one, and they only last for 6 weeks. And I buy cases, I have cases.
Mm-hmm.
And Jane across the street, I have every year for 4 or 5 years, I'll buy a case of oranges, have it sent to her, now I go to, and then I have to buy 2 or 3 of them, and every 3 or 4 weeks, because I give them all away.
Yeah.
So, anyway, you talk.
Well, you got a lot more stories than I do.
I'm older than you.
You got a few years on me.
Yeah. Then, trying to think how it happened. Oh, I was an aide in the hospital, and that's all I wanted, because he was working.
Mm-hmm.
And I was working in pediatrics. And this girl, she was working in pediatrics. She was an aide too. You're like a flunky, bed pans, all this stuff. So she said, my mother wants me, she was married, to have a baby or become a nurse. I said, well, Peggy, I'm sure not going to have a baby, but I'll be a nurse.
Yeah.
I went home to my husband. He's retired. I'd like to go to nursing school. So he said, okay. So I did it for
Nice.
2 years, in 1976 to 77. Part of 70, and I did become an LD, and I worked at the hospital for 12 years.
And that was when you were in Washington still?
Where were we living at? Whittier.
Oh, in California then.
But I became a float. They gave me a float whole hospital because people were comfortable in their own little niche and didn't want to go to another floor.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll do it. So I worked down the nursery a lot. And I'm talking that they were just born, brought in, they had new babies here, and a desk here. And there was a neonatal. If they're real sick babies, yeah. So I go down there, and it's on a 3-floor hospital, so this one's 1st floor. So anyway, after I've been doing that for 5-6 years, the head nurse and the director said, well, I want you to go to the nursery.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, normally, there's 2 or 3 people in there. So after she settles the whole hospital, she came back, she says, you're the only one.
Oh.
Nobody showed up to work. Nobody. And I'm sure that was a plan.
Yeah.
Well, I said, okay, well, I had 6 babies here. And so I had about 12. I have more than that. I didn't. Mrs. Edwards, I cannot take care of 12 newborn babies.
Yeah, that's a
like
lot.
This.
One's enough.
So she said, well, just put them all in one room. But have them back when the day people come. So there I had 12 newborn babies and 1 baby under the belly room. And, well, you got lots of your liver enzymes. So you have to make sure the levels of those babies turn jaundice. So this little baby's laying in a box, more or less, with a heat lamp coming down, nothing on, but you have gauze on it so they can have the ice covered up. And they require care every 2 hours. You give them water. And then these all these other babies.
Yeah. That's definitely a day. A day to remember for sure.
Another time I just get to my nerve floor. They want you in the office. Oh, what happened now? Because you think, what I do? Well, they say, we want you here in that room. Well, then, well, that's a new mother and a new baby, and you're the only one. Well, she had measles, so but she couldn't be out on the floor, so I stayed all night with her and took care of her and her baby. Oh, I don't know, just, oh, no. Once in a while, because nobody would go, I'd go up to the 3rd floor, and that's where the new surgeries, the cardiac, the heart surgeries, and Bad, he didn't go too well, so
the ICU probably.
Yeah, and at that time, that particular night, they were giving classes, so I was sent to this one, and there's this one nurse, because she sent her help to take a class. And she was there, and I was just more or less in case something went wrong. I mean, more than she could handle by herself. So she got a new admit, and she said, watch telemetries. Well, they got 6 of them right here. And I'm watching all those. And then she got a little screaming. I said, look, if I didn't come to work tonight, you'd be by yourself.
Yeah.
So just
be happy.
Yeah. So I watched all those, and this guy, he deserves, so I just dropped stuff, and I'm taking shelter. That's all right, that sort of thing, Yeah, life goes on. That's interesting. Oh, one time, they had an earthquake. Well, when I was in school, there's this young man also working in school, but working at the hospital.
Okay.
They had that big earthquake in the 70s, I think 71, and it took out lots of bridges and freeways, and the big hospitals north of Los Angeles, Westwood, Westminster, something like that. So we were just getting off of work, and about 7:15, and so That end of the hospital, that particular floor, all the water pipes broke up and water was coming down. So we had to get all those people there, patients, over to our floor, put names on them, put them in chairs. All the ventilators weren't working. So we had to go and take the bullet and just bag them until the ventilators, emergency light,
Yeah.
electricity come on.
That's a stressful day.
Yeah, we had to stay there till things settled down and everybody got night. And then I went to one of the windows. I'm on the second floor. A lot of dust and everything. And I wondered, what went on in my neighborhood. We got a Hamburger water mains, no water. As I turned my block, this house was crumbled. One over here was crumbled. But ours didn't. But our house was sitting on blocks, but not tied down, so it just swayed. Because he said, "Mother, all right." So I crawled underneath the house and looked out over. I don't know.
That's awesome. That's a happy sight to see your house still standing.
Yeah. Well, the foundation was a little cracked.
Yeah.
He says, "We gotta sell, we gotta get out of here." He didn't like earthquakes. So he got cement and he plastered it all up and it's there, looks brand new. Yeah. It's been a good, it's been an interesting life,
Yeah.
You make it what it is. Yeah.
Well, you're sitting here on a beautiful day at a nice, yeah, with a,
And you're resting.
yeah. So you definitely done good.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember you said Jack Davis when his wife, his little girl, because I've had him for years, and he really, truly is a friend, because you lay out with you, and he takes care of it for you. I give him a healthy check for his daughter, and then I didn't care if you go to the Grants Pass golf course, you go in there, there's a great big bowl, Katie Davis, so. Yeah, I listened to him. Oh, he had a cabin up at Willow Lake, and he said, and that was after she died, and he was a real mess for a long time. And I went in there because I made a tape on the organ, the Christmas songs, and I took it to him, and he says, we're going to go to the cabin. And he just didn't feel like anything.
Yeah.
And I said, well, Jack, you don't have to drive it all in one day. He said, such a long drive. He couldn't think.
Yep.
He said, I don't do it. So, a lot of good conversations. When we sold our house in Whittier, we bought this place, 22 acres of that mountain right there, and an annuity, $50,000 annuity. Well, you can't touch that for 6 years. That's what the annuities are. You can't do that. I developed that mountain over there, 22 acres of them. I got a landscaper, surveyor,
Yeah.
divided in 3 parts. My daughter's still living there, one daughter still lives over there. But the other half, the one in town didn't want to live out here. She did. I surveyed that twice. They took off 7 loads of timber. We had to go down to the forestry. And at that time, and not now, you don't have to get a permit. you can take out trees. If they're roads, you're putting in a house and something else. But not now. You can do it your own land now. And I do 5 wells, because our wells are for every place. Septic approval. And the daughter that I got it now is just perfect because her husband's from here.
Mm-hmm.
He likes to hunt and stuff.
That was a good investment.
Yeah, well, with Jack, and he says you have to get that out of there because the girls won't know how to do it or what to do, and then can have film. So it took me 5 years. Jack figured out. He just gave a third of the pace for 5 years' time, and then I had it free.
There you go. Yep, if you got someone that knows how to do all that, it's definitely worth it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we drilled the wells, and then we bought this place. We came up for 3 years from California. A week at a time, stayed with my daughter, looking for places, and we chose this place.
You made the right choice, I'd say.
Yeah, well, and we really couldn't. The realtor, we looked at this one and decided because he had to have level land.
Mm-hmm.
And, but it had a pending sign on it. And the realtor said, well, you can do it. Because I'm waiting for them to come up to cash.
Yeah.
Well, we paid cash for this too, from the sale of our house. And then he used to go over to the mountain. And he'd drive over there and sit there, and he said, Mama, when I die, I want my ashes spread across the mountain. Okay. So I went to hole in the hole. Daryl's glass. I said, do you have a service that I can have his ashes spread on the mountain? Yes, Daryl's glass. He has an airplane.
Mm-hmm.
So we did. At the exact time of his passing, on the exact day. And so we went to the airport down here and met him. And there, so I walked over to the airplane and put my hand on it. She said, are you looking for your husband? I said, yes, I am. And I cried for 5 years. I was a mess. And here he is in that little box right there.
Yeah, that's hard.
And I wanted to ride in the airplane. He said, I can't let you do that. Insurance-wise, my daughter will. So it's Gwen, Jennifer, and the EMT that Gwen knew because they didn't know what my reaction would be. And we were over there 4:30 in the afternoon. We went first to the airport. And then he said, I'll give him a good ride. I said, well, give us a chance to get over here. He circled the airplane around the grass, come back, come here, and tipped his wings. And we saw the ashes come down. Dozen roses, but we found 2 roses.
Yeah.
So.
That's a good way to go. I like that.
Well, I'm not going. I have to be free.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be cremated and put on the ground, above the ground.
Yeah.
Just throw the ashes.
Back to the earth.
Yeah.
Yep.
I have to be. I like to not in charge, but I have to know a way out. Does that make any kind of sense?
Yeah, it does. Not stuck in a jar. It was good talking to you, Beth.
Talking!
Good listening to you.
Talking! You didn't do any!
I could spend another couple hours. I could spend the rest of the day with you if I had the time.
You know, see? Yeah, well, when you're out this way, but okay, I'm going in and watch the Masters. I've been on until this afternoon.